Okay, so get this right. The Victoria's Secret fashion show. The lights, the runway,
Yeah.
and Tyra Banks. Like, the Tyra Banks, back in Angel Wings after all these years.
After what, like almost 20 years? Why?
Since 2005. I mean, she basically was the show for a while there.
Yeah.
But this time, it felt different. Bigger. You know, like a real moment. Luckily, we've got a ton of articles dissecting the whole thing. The show's come back, Tyra's return, even her thoughts. The whole shebang. Ready to go deep.
I am so ready. What gets me is it's not just another appearance, right? This is Tyra's 10th VS show, and she's 50. In a world, let's be honest, that's obsessed with being young, especially for women.
Totally. It's like she's flipping the script. And for Victoria's Secret, too, this whole thing is a gamble. They're not just bringing back a star. They're trying to recapture this magic they lost.
Yeah, you can't just rewind the clock. Remember when they canceled it back in 19? That was a whole thing.
Huge. It felt like a sign of the times.
Totally. People were over it. The lack of diversity, the whole unattainable beauty standard.
Yeah.
It wasn't a good look.
Which is what makes Tyra's return so interesting. Like, is this Victoria's Secret actually changing or just trying to look good?
The million-dollar question. And some of these articles, they're using this language, like who we are today and seeing things with a modern lens, but is that just talk?
Well, Tyra's not exactly known for being subtle. These articles, they describe her entrance, silver and black outfit, totally owning it.
Mm-hmm.
And the crowd, going nuts. She's still got it.
Oh, it was calculated for sure. Even the way they announced the show, Tyra and Gigi Hadid on Instagram calling it a feminine phenomenon, marketing gold.
Oh, totally. And that little sketch video they did, so smart. But the really interesting stuff, at least to me, was hearing Tyra talk about it.
Right. It's like she was still processing it all. It feels crazy, she said. I never thought I'd be back. But you could also tell she was taking it seriously, even saying she'd been practicing walking around in heels to get ready.
Knowing Tyra, that's probably as much mental as physical. She's always been about owning her power.
100%. And that's why this whole thing is so fascinating. It's bigger than just fashion. Here you have Tyra, a woman at the top of her game in an industry that worships youth, coming back on her own terms. It's a statement.
Makes you think, doesn't it? About why Tyra would even do this. I mean, it's a chance for her to kind of rewrite the rules, show that it's not all about age. But for Victoria's Secret, this feels huge.
Absolutely. I mean, their whole image, right? It was built on this very specific idea and not one that's aged all that well, if we're being honest.
Right. So it's not enough to just bring back the show. They got to convince people they've actually changed.
Yeah, and those are high stakes. These brands, they don't just throw things at the wall and see what sticks. They've got data, they've got teams analyzing every little thing. So what did they see? You know, what made them go all in on this?
Yeah, what did they see?
Well, the articles, they point to a few things. One, just the whole cultural shift, you know, body positivity, inclusivity. Brands that don't get that, they're in trouble. But then there's the nostalgia factor. Bringing back the show and Tyra, that's a powerful cocktail.
Like comfort food, but with a new label. But the question is, does that actually work? Or is it just a good marketing ploy?
Right. I mean, will it satisfy everyone? Probably not. But could it be a good business move? I think so. I mean, look at the buzz it's created. Everyone's talking about Victoria's Secret again. And Tyra, she's got pull.
That she does. And let's not forget, this isn't even her first rodeo with shaking things up. America's Next Top Model.
Yeah.
She put diversity front and center, and this was way back when.
Exactly. So it's not just a random celebrity endorsement. When Tyra gets involved, it means something. It gives their message legitimacy.
Okay, but can we talk about the outfit for a minute? That silver and black number? I mean, come on. Talk about a power move. What'd you think?
Oh, yeah. All the articles highlighted that. It was so different, right? Not the typical angel wings and barely their lingerie. This was strong, like a statement.
But she was saying, I'm not here for your old ideas.
Exactly. And that image, that confidence, it fits with where she is now in her career. She's not trying to be the young ingenue anymore. And that's powerful, especially for women who are constantly told they become less valuable as they get older.
It really makes you think, though, right? It's like, for a minute there, it felt like the whole fashion world was finally getting it.
Yeah.
You know, embracing different kinds of beauty. But then you see this show, Tyra's back. And it's like, are we really past needing these big splashy moments to feel like things are changing?
It's the question, isn't it? Real progress or just a shiny distraction?
Because let's not kid ourselves. One fashion show, even with Tyra Banks, doesn't erase everything.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, they were promoting a pretty narrow idea of beauty for a long time.
Exactly. I mean, you know, those articles about the business side, they were hinting that Victoria's Secret might not have had a choice. Like, their sales were down, their image was hurting, something had to happen.
So maybe this whole reinvention thing, it's as much about staying afloat as it is about actually changing.
Could be both, right? And honestly, that's not always a bad thing. Sometimes it takes a little bit of both to make real change happen.
True enough. And like those consumer behavior articles were saying, people are smart. They can spot something fake from a mile away. So for Victoria's Secret, it's not enough to just put on a good show. They've got to prove they really get it.
Exactly. And that's what makes this whole thing so interesting. It's messy, you know? It makes you think about the whole industry and how it's trying to change.
And it leaves us with a lot to think about, too. What does inclusivity really mean in fashion? Can a brand like Victoria's Secret really outrun its past? And I think most importantly, what do we as consumers need to be doing to demand more than just these little glimpses of change?
Big questions. And I think it's safe to say this conversation Tyra and Victoria's Secret started, yeah, it's not over, not by a long shot.